There's something sitting in your bank account right now, quietly draining your money every single month. You barely notice it. You might not even remember signing up for it. It's small enough that it doesn't hurt when it hits your account. $12 here, $15 there, maybe 20. It feels like nothing in the moment. But over the course of your lifetime, this tiny subscription, this thing you barely think about, is going to cost you over $100,000, not because the subscription itself costs that much, but because of what that money could have become if you hadn't spent it. And the worst part is, you're probably not even using it. My name is Red Season, and I spend way too much time thinking about why people make certain financial decisions. And today, we're going to talk about the subscription you don't notice that's destroying your financial future. We're going to break down exactly how something that costs $15 or $20 a month turns into a $100,000 mistake over your lifetime. We're going to talk about why you don't cancel it even though you know you should. And we're going to talk about what you need to do right now, today, to stop the bleeding before it's too late. Before we dive in, I need to know something. Drop a comment right now and tell me the truth. How many subscriptions do you actually have? Not the ones you remember. All of them. Netflix, Spotify, your gym membership you haven't used in 6 months, that app you signed up for and forgot about, the streaming service you got for one show and never canceled. Add them all up. How much are you spending every month on subscriptions? And more importantly, how many of them are you actually using? Be honest. Because I guarantee when you actually sit down and count them, the number is going to shock you. And if you're watching this video thinking your subscriptions aren't a big deal, thinking $15 or $20 a month is nothing to worry about, hit that subscribe button right now. Because what I'm about to show you is going to completely change how you think about small recurring expenses. This isn't about being cheap. This isn't about never spending money on anything you enjoy. This is about understanding the real cost of financial decisions that seem insignificant in the moment, but compound into massive losses over time. Let's start with the most common one. The subscription that almost everyone has and almost nobody thinks about as a financial problem. And that subscription is streaming services, not just one. Multiple. Because here's what happened over the last 10 years. Netflix used to be the only game in town. You paid $10 a month and you had access to basically everything. But then every media company decided they wanted their own streaming service. So now you've got Netflix, Hulu, Disney+, HBO Max, Amazon Prime Video, Apple TV+, Paramount+, Peacock, and a dozen others. And each one costs between $7 and $15 a month. And here's how they got you. They made it so easy to sign up. You want to watch one show on Disney+, you sign up, you watch the show, and then you forget to cancel. Or you think, well, it's only $8 a month, I'll keep it in case I want to watch something else. And then the same thing happens with another service. And another, and before you know it, you're paying $60 or $70 or $80 a month for streaming services. And you're only actively using maybe 2 of them. But you keep paying for all of them. Because canceling feels like work. And $8 a month doesn't feel like enough to worry about. Let's do the math on this. Let's say you have 5 streaming services at an average of $12 each. That's $60 a month. Over a year, that's $720. Now, most people hear that and think, okay, $720 a year, that's not great, but it's not destroying my life. But that's not how you should be thinking about it. Because you're not just spending $720 this year. You're spending $720 every year for the rest of your life. And every dollar you spend on subscriptions is a dollar you're not investing. And that's where the real cost comes in. Let's say you're 30 years old right now and you're going to live to 80. That's 50 years of paying for streaming services. At $720 a year, that's $36,000 over your lifetime. That's already a significant amount of money. But it gets worse. Because if instead of spending that $720 a year on streaming services, you invested it and earned an average 8% return, which is reasonable for a long-term stock market investment, that money would grow to over $350,000 by the time you're 80. You read that right, $350,000. That's the real cost of your streaming subscriptions. Not the $720 you pay this year, the $350,000 you're giving up over your lifetime. And that's just streaming services. Now let's add in the gym membership you're not using. Let's say that's $40 a month. Over 50 years invested at 8%, that's another $190,000. Now we're at $540,000. Let's add in the subscription box you signed up for because it seemed fun. $25 a month. Over 50 years, that's another $120,000. We're at $660,000. Let's add in the premium version of an app you barely use. $10 a month. That's another $47,000 over 50 years. We're at $707,000. And I'm not even done. There are people paying for meal kit subscriptions they don't use, cloud storage they don't need, premium music services when the free version would be fine, magazine subscriptions they don't read, software subscriptions they signed up for once and forgot about. Every single one of these small monthly charges is quietly draining hundreds of thousands of dollars from your future wealth. And you don't notice because the monthly cost is small enough to be invisible, but the lifetime cost is catastrophic. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, okay, but I'm not going to live like a monk. I'm not going to cancel everything and never spend money on anything I enjoy. And you're right. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that most people are paying for things they're not even using. They're paying for things they forgot they had. They're paying for things that used to bring them value but don't anymore. And they're not canceling them because the monthly cost is low enough that it doesn't trigger their attention. But low attention doesn't mean low cost. It means hidden cost. And hidden costs are the most dangerous kind because you never see them until it's too late. This is the subscription trap. And it's designed to work exactly this way. Companies know that if they charge you $15 a month, you're way more likely to say yes than if they asked you for $180 upfront for the year. The monthly charge feels manageable, it feels insignificant, and once you're signed up, they're counting on you forgetting about it. They're counting on the fact that $15 isn't painful enough to make you go through the hassle of canceling. They're counting on inertia, and it works. It works on almost everyone. The average American has 4 to 6 active subscriptions they're aware of, but studies show that most people are actually paying for closer to 10 to 15 when you count everything. That's because there are subscriptions hiding in your bank statement that you literally don't remember signing up for. Maybe it was a free trial that converted to paid. Maybe it was something you signed up for 2 years ago and never thought about again. Maybe it's a service that automatically renewed and you just never noticed. But it's there. And it's costing you. Every month, every year, for the rest of your life unless you do something about it. And here's the really insidious part. Subscription companies have made it incredibly easy to sign up and incredibly annoying to cancel. You can sign up with one click. But to cancel, you have to log in, find the right page, sometimes call customer service, sometimes wait on hold, sometimes deal with a retention specialist trying to talk you out of it. They've created intentional friction because they know that a certain percentage of people will just give up and keep paying rather than deal with the hassle. And that percentage is their profit margin. This is why subscriptions are the preferred business model for so many companies now. It's not because subscriptions are better for you. It's because they're better for them. Predictable, recurring revenue, customers who forget to cancel. Automatic payments that keep hitting month after month without any additional work. It's the perfect business model. For them. For you, it's a slow financial bleed that you don't notice until you sit down and actually calculate what it's costing you. Now let's talk about why this happens. Why do smart, responsible people continue paying for subscriptions they don't use? Why is it so hard to cancel something that's objectively a waste of money? And why does this keep happening even after you promise yourself you're going to get your subscriptions under control? The answer is psychology. And once you understand the psychological tricks being used against you, you can start to fight back. The first psychological trick is something called the pain of paying. Research shows that humans feel more pain from losing money than pleasure from gaining it. But here's the thing, that pain is strongest when the payment is visible and immediate. When you hand over cash for something, you feel it. When you swipe a card and see the total, you feel it. But when $15 gets automatically deducted from your account on the 20th of every month, you don't feel it. It's invisible. it happens in the background. And because you don't feel the pain, your brain doesn't register it as a real expense. This is why subscription companies insist on automatic payments, not because it's more convenient for you, because it's more profitable for them. The second psychological trick is the sunk cost fallacy. You've been paying for this subscription for 2 years, you've already spent hundreds of dollars on it. And your brain tells you that if you cancel now, all that money was wasted, so you keep paying, thinking that eventually you'll use it enough to justify the cost, but that's backwards. The money you've already spent is gone. It's sunk. The only question that matters is whether the subscription is worth the cost going forward. And if you're not using it, it's not. But your brain doesn't think that way. Your brain wants to avoid the feeling of waste, so it keeps paying, which actually creates more waste. The third psychological trick is decision fatigue. You have limited mental energy every day, and every decision you make drains a little bit of that energy. So when you're going through your bank statement and you see a $15 charge for something you're not using, your brain has to make a decision. Do I cancel this or keep it? And that decision requires energy. You have to remember your login. You have to navigate to the cancellation page. You have to potentially deal with customer service. And your brain looks at all of that and thinks, this is not worth the effort for $15. I'll deal with it later. And later never comes. So you keep paying. Month after month, not because you want the service, but because canceling it requires more energy than ignoring it. The fourth psychological trick is loss aversion. Even if you're not using a subscription right now, your brain doesn't want to give up the option of using it in the future. What if there's a show you want to watch next month? What if you decide to start going to the gym again? What if you need that app for something? Your brain is scared of losing access, even to something you're not currently using. So you keep paying for the option, for the potential, for the just in case. And companies know this. This is why they make cancellation feel so final. They don't say pause your subscription and come back anytime. They say cancel your subscription and lose all your data, all your settings, all your preferences. They make it feel like you're burning a bridge instead of just turning something off temporarily. The fifth psychological trick is social proof and FOMO, the fear of missing out. Everyone has Netflix. Everyone has Spotify. If you cancel, what are you going to talk about when your friends are discussing the latest show? What are you going to listen to? How are you going to stay connected to culture? Companies have done an incredible job of making their subscriptions feel like necessities instead of luxuries. They've convinced you that being subscribed is normal and not being subscribed is weird. And humans hate feeling weird. We want to belong. So we pay for things we don't need just to feel like we're part of the group. Now let's talk about the specific categories of subscriptions that are draining people's bank accounts without them realizing it. Because it's not just streaming services, that's the obvious one. The real damage is coming from subscriptions you've completely forgotten about or that you justified once and never reconsidered. The first category is fitness and wellness. Gym memberships are the classic example. People sign up in January full of motivation. They go for 2 weeks, then life gets busy, they stop going, but they keep paying because they tell themselves they'll start going again soon. And the gym makes it intentionally difficult to cancel. You can't cancel online. You have to come in person or mail a certified letter. It's absurd. But it works. People keep paying $40 or $50 a month for a gym they haven't visited in 6 months because canceling is too much of a hassle. Over a lifetime, that unused gym membership is costing you well over $100,000 in lost investment growth. But it's not just gyms. There are meditation apps, fitness apps, nutrition apps, wellness subscriptions, meal planning services. All of them cost $10 to $20 a month. All of them seemed like a good idea when you signed up. And all of them are now just sitting there charging you every month while you use none of them. Let me ask you something. Do you have a meditation app subscription? When's the last time you actually used it? Do you have a fitness app? When's the last time you logged a workout? If the answer is more than a month ago, you're wasting money. And that waste is compounding into a 6-figure mistake over your lifetime. The second category is entertainment and media. This is where it gets really insidious because there are so many subscriptions in this space. Streaming video services we already talked about. But there are also music subscriptions, podcast subscriptions, gaming subscriptions, news subscriptions, magazine subscriptions, audiobook subscriptions. Each one costs somewhere between $5 and $20 a month. And because they're all different, because they all serve slightly different purposes, it's easy to justify having multiple. But when you add them all up, you might be spending $100 or $150 a month on entertainment subscriptions. That's $1,200 to $1,800 a year. Over 50 years invested at 8%, that's $550,000 to $830,000. You're trading your financial future for the ability to have every possible entertainment option available at all times, even though you can only consume one thing at a time. The third category is productivity and software. This one is particularly painful for people who work from home or run businesses. You sign up for a project management tool, a cloud storage service, a password manager, a VPN, a design tool, a scheduling app, a CRM, an email marketing platform. Each one makes sense in isolation. Each one solves a specific problem. But when you add them all up, you're spending $200 or $300 a month on software subscriptions. And here's the kicker. A lot of these tools have free versions that would work fine for most people. But you're paying for the premium version because you think you might need the extra features someday, and you never do. The fourth category is food and beverage. Meal kit subscriptions, coffee subscriptions, wine clubs, snack boxes, supplements, protein powder, subscriptions. All of these charge you automatically every month and ship you things whether you need them or not. And because they're framed as health or convenience, it's easy to justify them. But the reality is, you're paying a premium for convenience you might not actually need. You could buy the same food at the grocery store for half the price. But the subscription makes it feel easier, and you're paying hundreds of dollars a month for that feeling. The fifth category, and this one catches people by surprise, is financial services and insurance add-ons. Credit monitoring services, identity theft protection, roadside assistance, extended warranties, premium bank accounts with monthly fees. All of these are subscriptions that were sold to you as protection or peace of mind, and you're paying $10 to $30 a month for each one. But here's the thing, most of them are redundant. Your credit card already includes a lot of these protections. Your car insurance might already include roadside assistance. And identity theft protection is mostly a waste of money, because the things they offer to do, you can do yourself for free. But you're paying for them every month because canceling feels risky. What if you need it? What if something happens? And so you keep paying for peace of mind that you probably don't actually need. Now let's talk about the subscriptions you literally forgot you have, because this is where it gets really bad. There are subscriptions in your bank statement right now that you don't even remember signing up for. Maybe it was a free trial that you meant to cancel but forgot. Maybe it was an app you downloaded 3 years ago and used once. Maybe it was a service you signed up for temporarily and thought you canceled but didn't. And now it's just sitting there, charging you every month, completely invisible to you. Studies show that the average person is paying for at least 2 or 3 subscriptions they've completely forgotten about. At $10 each, that's $30 a month. $360 a year. Over 50 years invested at 8%, that's $168,000. You're losing $168,000 to subscriptions you don't even know you have. And the only reason you don't know is because you never look. You never go through your bank statement line by line. You never audit your subscriptions. You just let them run on autopilot, and companies are counting on that. Here's a real example. I talked to someone who went through their bank statement and found a subscription to a service they had used for one project 4 years ago. They thought they had canceled it when the project ended. But they hadn't. They had been paying $19 a month for 4 years for something they weren't using. That's $912 down the drain. And they only found it because they finally sat down and actually looked at every single charge on their statement. How much money have you lost to subscriptions you forgot about? The answer is probably more than you think. Now let's bring all of this together and show you the real cost of subscription creep. Because when you add up all the categories we just talked about, the number becomes absolutely staggering. And this is where most people have their wake-up moment, when they actually see what they're spending and what it's costing them over their lifetime. Let's build a realistic example. Let's say you're a typical person with a decent job, living a normal life, and you have what feels like a reasonable number of subscriptions. You're not going crazy. You're not subscribed to everything. You've just got the basics. Here's what that might look like. 3 streaming services at $12 each, that's $36 a month. Spotify Premium at $11. A gym membership you use sometimes at $45. A meditation app at $15. 2 productivity apps at $10 each. A meal kit service you get twice a month at $60. A wine club at $35. Identity theft protection at $13. And 2 subscriptions you forgot about at $10 each. Add it all up, and you're at $255 a month. Now, $255 a month doesn't sound that bad when you say it out loud. It's less than many people spend on car payments. It's way less than rent. But here's what that actually costs you. Over a year, that's $3,060. Over 10 years, that's $30,600. Over 30 years, that's $91,800. But remember, this isn't just money you're spending, it's money you're not investing. And that's where the real damage happens. If you took that $255 a month and invested it instead, earning an average 8% annual return, here's what you'd have after 10 years. You'd have $46,000. After 20 years, you'd have $148,000. After 30 years, you'd have $368,000. After 40 years, you'd have $827,000. And if you started at 25 and invested until 65, that $255 a month in subscriptions would have turned into over $800,000. You're giving up almost $1 million over your working life, so you can have streaming services, apps, and subscriptions you barely use. And this is assuming your subscriptions stay constant. But they don't. They go up. Netflix used to cost $8. Now it's $15 or $18, depending on the plan. Spotify raises prices. Gym memberships increase every year. Every subscription you have will cost more in the future than it does today. So that $255 a month is actually going to be $300 or $350 in a few years. Which means the real lifetime cost is even higher than $800,000. You're probably looking at $1 million or more in lost wealth over your lifetime because of subscriptions. Now, I want you to really sit with that number. $1 million, that's not an exaggeration. That's not me trying to scare you with fake math. That's real. That's what compound interest does over 40 years, and that's what you're giving up. $1 million of future wealth in exchange for having every streaming service, every app, every subscription available to you at all times, even though you only actively use a fraction of them. So how do you fix this? How do you break free from the subscription trap before it costs you your financial future? The answer is simple, but it requires discipline. You need to audit every single subscription you have, cancel the ones you're not using, and get ruthless about what you actually need versus what companies have convinced you need. Here's exactly how to do it. Step 1, go through your bank statements for the last 3 months. Every transaction, every charge, write down every single recurring payment you see. This includes the obvious ones like Netflix and Spotify, but also the ones you forgot about. The $10 charge from that app you downloaded last year, the $15 charge from the service you signed up for during a free trial. Everything. Write it all down. And next to each one, write down when you last actually used it, not when you think you'll use it in the future, when you actually last used it. Be honest. Step 2, calculate what you're spending per month on subscriptions. Add them all up, and I mean all of them. Don't leave anything out. Don't minimize it. Just add them up and write down the total. For most people, this number is shocking. They had no idea they were spending this much. And seeing it written down in black and white makes it real in a way that individual monthly charges never do. Step 3, divide your subscriptions into 3 categories: essential, useful, and wasteful. Essential means you use it regularly and it provides significant value. This might be one streaming service that you and your family actually watch, or a productivity tool you use for work every day. Useful means you use it occasionally and it provides some value, but you could live without it. Wasteful means you either don't use it or you use it so rarely that the cost doesn't justify keeping it. Be brutal with this categorization. Don't put something in useful just because you like the idea of it. If you haven't used it in the last month, it's probably wasteful. Step 4. Cancel everything in the wasteful category. Today. Right now. Don't wait until the end of the billing cycle. Don't tell yourself you'll use it one more time to get your money's worth. Cancel it now. Yes, it's going to be annoying. Yes, some companies are going to make you jump through hoops. Yes, you're going to have to deal with retention specialists trying to convince you to stay. Do it anyway. Because every day you wait is another day of your financial future being drained. Step 5. For everything in the useful category, ask yourself if there's a free or cheaper alternative. Do you really need the premium version of that app, or would the free version work just fine? Do you really need 3 streaming services, or could you rotate them, subscribing to one for a few months, canceling it, and subscribing to another? Could you share accounts with family or friends to split the cost? Get creative. The goal is to reduce your monthly subscription cost as much as possible without sacrificing the things that genuinely add value to your life. Step 6. Set up a calendar reminder to review your subscriptions every 3 months. This is critical. Because even after you cancel everything unnecessary, new subscriptions will creep in. You'll sign up for a free trial and forget to cancel. You'll subscribe to something for one specific thing and then never use it again. Subscription creep is constant. So you need to build a habit of regularly auditing what you're paying for. Every 3 months, go through your bank statement again, look at every recurring charge, and ask yourself, am I still using this? If not, cancel it immediately. Now let's talk about what to do with the money you save, because this is where the real transformation happens. Let's say you were paying $255 a month in subscriptions, and you cut it down to $60 by canceling everything you don't actually use. That's $195 a month you just freed up. A lot of people would take that money and just spend it on something else. They'd go out to eat more or buy clothes or upgrade their phone. Don't do that. Take that $195 and set up an automatic investment. Every month, the same day your paycheck hits, that $195 goes into an index fund or a retirement account. You never see it. You never have a chance to spend it. It just disappears into an investment that's going to grow over time. If you do this, if you take the money you were wasting on subscriptions and invest it instead, here's what happens. That $195 a month invested at 8% for 40 years turns into $632,000. You just turned your subscription money into more than $500,000 of retirement wealth. You didn't get a raise. You didn't start a business. You didn't take on more risk. You just stopped paying for things you weren't using and redirected that money into your future. And that decision, that one decision to cancel subscriptions and invest the difference, changes your entire financial trajectory. But here's what most people don't do. They cancel subscriptions, they feel good about it for a week, and then they slowly let them creep back in. A new streaming service launches with a show they want to watch. They sign up, they forget to cancel. A friend recommends an app, they download it, start the free trial, forget about it, and now they're paying for it. Within 6 months, they're right back where they started, paying for a dozen subscriptions they barely use, and all the progress they made is gone. And this is why step 6 is so important. You have to build the habit of regularly reviewing your subscriptions. It can't be a one-time thing. It has to be a permanent part of how you manage your money. Because the subscription economy is designed to be sticky, companies are constantly finding new ways to get recurring revenue from you. And if you're not vigilant, if you're not constantly auditing what you're paying for, you're going to get trapped again. Let me give you one more way to think about this. Every subscription you keep that you're not actively using is a vote against your future self. It's a vote that says, I care more about having this more option available, even though I don't use it, than I care about having financial freedom in the future. And when you frame it that way, the decision becomes a lot clearer. Do you want to have 17 streaming services that you barely watch, or do you want to retire 5 years early? Do you want to have every productivity app in the world, or do you want to have $600,000 in your investment account when you're 65? You can't have both, so you have to choose. And here's the brutal truth. Most people will choose the subscriptions, not consciously, not because they sit down and decide that Netflix is more important than their retirement. but because subscriptions are easy and automatic, and building wealth requires intention and discipline. It's easier to just let the charges keep hitting your account than it is to go through the hassle of canceling and redirecting that money into investments. And that's why most people end up broke in retirement, wondering where all their money went, never realizing they spent it $15 at a time on subscriptions they didn't use. So there it is. The subscription you don't notice that costs $100,000 over your lifetime. Except it's not just one subscription, it's 10 or 15 or 20. It's the streaming services you barely watch. It's the gym membership you haven't used in 6 months. It's the apps you forgot you have. It's the meal kits and the wine clubs and the productivity tools and the identity protection services that you don't need. And when you add them all up, when you actually see what they're costing you, not just this month, but over the next 40 years, the number isn't 100,000, it's closer to $1 million. $1 million, that's what you're trading for, the convenience of having everything on autopilot. That's what you're giving up. So you don't have to think about canceling things. That's the real cost of subscription creep. And the worst part is, most people will go their entire lives without ever realizing this. They'll keep paying month after month, year after year, and they'll reach retirement age with nothing saved, wondering what happened, never connecting the dots between the $15 charges they ignored and the $1 million they don't have. But you're not going to be one of those people. Because now you know. You know what it's costing you. You know how the trap works. You know that every subscription you keep that you're not using is a choice. A choice to prioritize convenience over wealth. A choice to fund someone else's business model instead of your own financial future. And now that you know, you can't unknow it. So the question is, what are you going to do about it? Before you leave this video, I need you to do something right now, not later, not tomorrow, right now. Open your banking app. Look at your transactions from the last month and count every single recurring charge, every subscription, every automatic payment. Add them up and then drop a comment below with the number. Just say something like, I'm spending $230 a month on subscriptions and I'm cutting it in half starting today. Or, I found 6 subscriptions I forgot about and I'm canceling all of them. Be specific, write it down, make it public. Because the moment you commit out loud, you're accountable. And accountability is what separates people who have good intentions from people who actually change their lives. And if this video opened your eyes, if it made you realize you've been bleeding money for years without noticing, share it. Send it to your friends. Send it to your family. Send it to anyone who's constantly complaining about not being able to save money while they're paying for a dozen subscriptions they don't use. Because this is the conversation nobody's having. Everyone's focused on making more money, getting raises, side hustles, all of that. But nobody's talking about the fact that you're already making enough money. You're just giving it all away $15 at a time to subscription companies who are counting on you never canceling. If you're serious about fixing this, if you want to understand how to build real wealth by cutting the waste and investing the difference, you need to subscribe to this channel right now. Because I'm red season, and I spend way too much time thinking about why people make certain financial decisions so you can stop making the expensive ones. Every single week, I break down the traps, the invisible costs, the small decisions that compound into massive financial mistakes. This isn't about cutting out everything you enjoy. This is about being intentional, about knowing where your money is going, about making sure you're spending on things that actually add value instead of just spending because companies made it easy to forget. And if you made it all the way to the end of this video, leave a comment that just says, cutting the waste. 3 words, cutting the waste. That tells me you get it. That tells me you're not going to keep funding subscription companies with your retirement money. That tells me you're ready to take control. Look, I know this was uncomfortable. I know it's painful to realize you've been wasting money for years. I know it's hard to accept that those small monthly charges you've been ignoring are actually costing you $1 million over your lifetime. But uncomfortable truths are the only ones worth hearing. Because comfortable lies keep you broke. They keep you paying. They keep you trapped in a system designed to extract every possible dollar from you in the most invisible way possible. Here's what you need to understand. Subscription companies are not your friends. They don't care about your financial future. They care about their recurring revenue, and they've built their entire business model around making it easy to subscribe and annoying to cancel, around making the monthly cost small enough that you don't notice and painful enough to cancel that you don't bother. They're counting on your inertia. They're counting on your decision fatigue. They're counting on you valuing convenience over wealth. And for most people, that bet pays off. But you're not most people. Not anymore. Starting today, you're going to be the person who reviews their subscriptions every 3 months, who cancels anything they're not actively using, who redirects that money into investments instead of letting it disappear into auto pay charges. You're going to be the person who chooses wealth over convenience, who understands that every dollar matters, who knows that $1 million isn't built with one big decision, it's built with 1,000 small ones. And one of those small decisions is refusing to pay for subscriptions you don't use. This is not complicated. You don't need special knowledge. You don't need to be a financial genius. You just need to go through your bank statement, cancel the subscriptions you're not using, and set up an automatic investment with the money you save. That's it. 3 steps. You could do this today. You could do this in the next hour. You could free up $100 or $200 a month right now today and redirect it into your future. And if you do that, if you actually follow through, your 65-year-old self is going to thank you because you just gave them $500,000 or more just by canceling subscriptions you weren't using anyway. But here's the reality. Most people watching this video won't do it. They'll nod along. They'll agree that subscriptions are a waste. They'll tell themselves they're going to cancel things. And then they'll close this video, go about their day, and never actually do it. The subscriptions will keep charging. The money will keep disappearing. And in 40 years, they'll be broke, still paying for streaming services they barely watch, wondering why they never built any wealth. Don't be that person. Be the person who takes action. Be the person who goes through their bank statement today, who cancels the waste today, who sets up the automatic investment today, not tomorrow, not next week, today. Because every month you wait is another month of your financial future disappearing into subscription charges. Every year you wait is another $10,000 or $20,000 you'll never get back. The choice is yours. Convenience or wealth, subscriptions or investments, automatic payments to companies that don't care about you, or automatic investments in your own future. You can't have both. So choose. And choose right now. I'm Red Season, and I'll see you in the next one. Now go cancel those subscriptions.